Buttes and viewers, my name is Kith the Butte and welcome back to KTV Network. Alternatively, you can call me Bo O'Brien. But today we are reacting to Hypnotic. Japan says F Ubisoft as government officials want to ban Assassin's Creed Shadows from the country. Following up with this hot mess is great. Anyway, let's get into it. Let's see what they're talking about. Damn, not ban. Not ban. First they want to ban Source, now the game.
Okay. Interesting video today from Shohei Kondo, and this is going over the fact that Japan is apparently now asking Ubisoft to stop selling Assassin's Creed Shadows. I am not kidding. It seems like the situation for Shadows continues to get worse, regardless of whether or not the game is already out. And now Shohei Kondo is doing a video exposing it all, because apparently this information is not wanting to be readily spread around here in the West. So let's get into this video, guys, from Shohei Kondo. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. Let's hit it.
So Ubisoft is hiding this or completely ignoring this. Actually, Japanese Shrine Organization and the Todaiji, one of the greatest temple in Japan, sent a letter to Ubisoft March 10th, asking them not to sell in Japan. But they keep ignoring. So let's watch AC Shadow's father report. They are Japanese.
They sent this to Ubisoft and they ignored it?
Politician, and one of them, Kada Hiroyuki, he's the one actually talking about this issue to the Japanese Prime Minister.
Now, this is the video that we reacted to before, where the Japanese Diet was having the conversation about Assassin's Creed Shadows, and the Prime Minister eventually had to make a couple of statements regarding Shadows. But let's keep going. This is a terrible pause, by the way. Jeez.
They're planning next step now.
加田博之チャンネルで朝栗問題について参議院議員の加田博之さんにお話を伺っていきたいと思います。加田さん、よろしくお願いします。よろしくお願いします。なんか海外ですごい注目が集まってるみたいですね。いや、びっくりしまして、192万回超えもあったんですが、はい。
Bro, they dropped Asmongold's name. The Japanese government dropped Asmongold's name, bro. What the? They said Mr. Asmongold's videos got almost 2 million views. What the hell?
No one can expect that Japanese politician talking about Asmongold.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
そうですね。加田博之さんの質問の模様などが切り取り動画という形で引用されて世界中の方が見てるということですね。ありがたいことでございます。そして姫路市民からも
I like how they're bowing. I like that's their interaction. Of acknowledgement? I'm not sure. Let me know. I don't know what that means. But respect?
So Himeji is the place that shrine is located. And also one of the main stage in Assassin's Creed Shadows.
So it seems like the game has now started to beg the question of people who are either near these shrines, work at these shrines, live near these shrines, whatever the case may be. It's starting to bring up questions from these people as well. This game is so, I guess, I don't even know if I want to use the word influential, but the game is so known at this point that even people who just would never have been talking about video games at all are even bringing it up now.
Mm. そして、伊達京都神社の西本宮司には加田さんもお会いになってお話を伺ってますけども、これプレイヤーの方。
That's not me breathing. That, by the way, that's Hypnotic. That's not me.
ね、ゲームを進めていくといろんな自社の企画が。
Because I'm hearing that and I'm like, is that my breath? Is that me breathing? No, that's not me.
どうやら舞台になってみたいですね。
ですから近くの姫路城もそうでしたし、それから今年再建400年を迎える高砂神社とか、それから今にも触れましたけど東大寺というところも出てくれてるんですけども、本当にその部分についても抗議を送っても何も返事が。
Here, they sent letters to protest about it. Actually, I was able to get the copy of the original sentences, English and Japanese, and I can share here.
Dear sir or madam, we hope that you are enjoying the prosperity of our company at this time. We would like to take this opportunity to express our firm protest against the outrageous and disrespectful behavior of the supposed protagonist in the Assassin's Creed Shadows game from Ubisoft. Even in a virtual space, in which the name of our company's actual shrine is clearly stated, and in a place that may be within the premises of the shrine. The shrine has been in existence for more than 1,400 years, and is the chief town center of the former Harima province. It is a well-known shrine that has been revered by successive generations of provincial governors, guardian lords, and lords of Imeji Castle. There are worshippers of the company throughout the country, and during the New Year's holidays.
Bro, honestly, this is insane because I keep thinking back to all the people when we were talking about Shadows initially who were trying to say that the Japanese are not upset at this game. There's still people out there that are trying to say the Japanese are not upset at this game, which is ridiculous because we are now experiencing not only
That's an insane amount of code.
Evidence of people actually being upset.
Or they're just living in their own bubble as we've experienced.
All the way up into the government power of Japan, but also at the bottom level too, just regular everyday people, YouTubers as well. There's people that are upset over what Assassin's Creed Shadows has portrayed in Japan and what they've decided to do with the game and the way they've handled the game. and people are still trying to pretend like they don't exist, or even worse, people are trying to pretend as if they're not real, that they're just white people using Google Translator that are upset about this game. Like, they're basically saying that there's fake Japanese people out there that are upset about this game, even though you have literal Japanese people that we're seeing on video, from YouTubers to government to everything, talking about this game in a negative light and being highly offended over it. They don't care. They just want to pretend like it doesn't exist.
People as large as the population of Himeji City visit the shrine. We have been inundated with inquiries from people who have seen the video, which may have been said in our company, and it is interfering with our daily business. We would like to request that you immediately stop the production and sale of this video game.
There's another one from Japanese Shrine Organization, but it's pretty long.
This is the Hyogo Prefectural Shinto Shrines Agency, which has jurisdiction over 380 shrines in Hyogo Prefecture. In the video, a samurai named Yasuke, who is one of the main characters in the game, is seen wielding a sword and holding a drum, a mirror, and an altar in the shrine's hall of worship at the Sagitate Gyoshu Shrine in Himeji City, Hyogo Prefecture. In one of the videos, the samurai Yasuke wields a sword, smashes drums, mirrors, and altars in the shrine's hall of worship, slashes at innocent people in the shrine grounds, including those who appear to be priests with his sword, shoots a bow, and commits other acts of violence. Naturally, the Sagitate Hyoju Shrine regrets not only the unauthorized use of the shrine's name, but also the fact that such vile acts are being committed in the shrine's halls, albeit in a virtual space. The video has also caused problems for our work, even though this is a story in a virtual space on a game set in Japan during the Warring States period, Azuchi Momoyama period, and no actual damage has been done to the shrine. The location is Himeji, and the impact on the actual shrine, there seems to be a notation in 12 shrines, as well as Sagitate Byojinsha, is still present today. This is not just a matter of one shrine, but is a matter of concern for all the shrines in Hyogo Prefecture and throughout the country, and is truly regrettable. We therefore request that the use of names that could identify actual shrines be avoided. We also understand that the main characters in this game, the ninja and samurai, are capable of stealth and combat, but we have doubts about the specifications that allow them to attack and destroy non-hostile NPCs, even if Japan was a war-torn country.
Now, if this was a game that not based on facts, I'm sure it would have been fine. I think it would have been fine to destroy the shrine, but since they claimed that it was historically accurate, now this is a problem.
At the time, it would be unthinkable to massacre the people of a non-hostile force in a non-war.
Couldn't have gotten away with it if you just said it wasn't historically accurate. You could have had Yasuke in your game had you not said that.
Zone under normal circumstances.
Well, keep in mind, too, so the ironic thing is they patched out the ability to destroy shrines, right? They did that day one because of all the backlash and whatnot, just so you guys are aware. But the funny thing is, they didn't...
In silent.
They were so lazy about it.
On silent mode.
They actually forgot to patch out some of the shrines. There are some shrines in the game. There are clips going around on Twitter right now that they are still destructible in the game. So they must have forgotten to patch out all the shrines, or maybe they're different assets or something like that. But they fucked up so bad that they forgot to do all of them, basically, is what I'm saying. It's so ridiculous.
And in addition, vandalism of sacred places and attacks on worshippers would never be tolerated, no matter what religion in the world. In the history of Shintoism, the destruction of shrine buildings, as well as of the sacred object, is unprecedented in the history of Japan, including that of the Japanese of that time, although it is unlikely that a sensible person would commit such an act, as the fact that it is possible to operate the game is already known all over the world. There is a possibility that some mindless people will perform similar operations, upload images, or even break into the actual shrine premises in the real world and commit acts of destruction. We do not want to see the possibility of copycats emerging, which would not only call into question your company's moral responsibility, but could also lead to social and even international problems.
You're killing me
your
with
game
this
has received a lot of feedback from home and abroad,
gameplay,
and we've also heard that cruel expressions that were included in the overseas version have been removed from the Japanese version. We strongly request that the Japanese version of the game at least modifies the program to prevent such acts of destruction and carnage in sacred places or on the streets, although we believe that this functionality is already included in the overseas version. March 10th, 2025. Hyogo Prefectural Shinto Shrines Office to Ubisoft Corporation.
Yeah, this was
and they sent it to Ubisoft Japan, and we confirmed they received. But they're keeping ignoring that.
Well, the thing is, I don't think they're ignoring it because they did patch out the game. They might have did it lazily. They might not have done it to the point where it was, I guess, thorough, let's just say. But I don't think they're ignoring it in that aspect. They may not have responded. That they're definitely not going to do. They're not going to respond to you guys. And if they do, it's going to be on their social media.
They may not have the resources or the knowledge to be thorough. That's just a thought.
Page for Assassin's Creed Japan, but aside from that, they're not gonna do any other kind of formal, reply. They like to stay quiet. Let's just say.
Right.
This is really big things. I really don't know why the gaming magazine was not talking about this topic and then explaining, oh, Japan has good feedback. We hate it. It's not just few minority people. I hate it. A lot of Japanese hate it, and the politicians hate it, and the people working for Shrine hate it. But why there's silence? Why didn't?
I mean, it's pretty obvious that the Japanese hate it because when you think about it, look at the numbers, right? Look at the numbers. I mean, the game sold 17,000 physical copies on PS5 in the first week. It got dwarfed by 4 other titles, one of which was a game that's been out for a little while now, which is Monster Hunter Wilds. Monster Hunter Wilds sold more physical copies than Assassin's Creed Shadows in its release week, right? It's clear as day that this game is not exactly very loved in Japan. And you got to imagine that in the second week, I'm really going to follow up on the numbers this week because we're going to know what it did in the second week of its release. But I got to imagine in the second week of its release, it's not going to look too good. I got to imagine Shadows is probably going to fall down that list pretty decently. I don't know if it's going to be in the top 10. It probably won't even be, to be honest with you. But anybody who bought Shadows is going to buy it in that first week, and it really wasn't that many, players. And people are going to cope and say, well, what about digital sales? Well, you may be true. Yes, obviously digital sales, they could be a little bit better. But at the end of the day, Japan is also huge when it comes to physical retail. They love their physical retail. They love their physical media. So physical copies is a huge thing over there.
It would have made
why they don't talk
and
about it? And also why Ubisoft is not talking about this. There's a definite number that we don't like it. It's not selling well in Japan. But why they're still spreading as if they have good feedback in Japan? It's insane. And again, the other Assassin's Creed Shadow game,
Wow,
they
let
had
me see
respect for
that.
other religions. They can if they have good feedback in Japan.
That was amongst its release. That's really low. That's like a third of what they sold. Damn.
It's insane. And again, the other Assassin's Creed Shadow game, they had respect
Excuse me.
for other religions. They can break the altar, like they can break the sanctuary stuff. They disabled it. But in Japan, they didn't. It might come from some ignorant, but if that's so, why they don't say anything? Why they don't fix it? And why don't say they don't?
Well, I'll say right now. So Ubisoft does not have the right to claim ignorance. Okay, the reason why Ubisoft does not have the right to claim ignorance when it comes to anything culturally sensitive within your game is
Because they already said that they hired someone for.
because these people are the ones that shill for DEI. These people are the ones that shill for
okay.
consultants. They had consultancy on this game, supposedly. They hired a bunch of experts for this game.
Exactly,
They did
so they
everything
can't
under the
claim.
sun, supposedly anyway. That's what they said. In order to make sure this game was accurate, culturally sensitive, and all that other nonsense that these AAA, Quad A developers like to talk about. So if you had consultants, if you had all these experts, if you had all these sensitivity readers, you don't have an excuse as to why you didn't realize that this would be offensive to the Japanese. If you do,
Correct.
then that means that your experts that you hired and your consultants that you hired that you love so much that you claim unnecessary for every single video game out there, they suck. Which I would agree they do, but you need to agree to as well.
They apologize. And why media is not talking about this? There's a lot of people who got hurt. This is insane.
まだ返事がないと。
UBI 仕事さんは返事もしないんですね。じゃあ当初、日本で発売する前には、自社の価格を破壊できるようなものはできなくするみたいな話もあったんですが、どうやら自分ですね。
神社の鏡の鎮静の部分は壊されないようになっているそうですけど、
Actually, no, they didn't fix it. You can still break it, actually.
他の部分は
See, that was the proof that I was talking about earlier in this video, where I was saying that even though they patched it, there are some shrines in the game that you can still destroy, and people don't even realize that.
で、このことについてもいろんなユーザーの方から治ってないじゃないかという理解の声が届いております。
そしてさらにこれはもう有利し
Just stop in this video. Does anybody eat ice? Because that's what I've been doing right now in the middle of this video.
But to be fair, the breaking non-sanctuary stuff, just my opinion, it's okay because the video game can do it too. Even the Rise of Ronin, there's a cabinet and you can break it. But Rise of Ronin, you cannot break the altar. That's a big difference. But to be honest, if it's not sanctuary stuff, I think it's okay. My opinion. But I listen to them, and if shrine organization don't want that, I think we should accept that.
ないですが、
Well, so
okay,
obviously,
so
I think
it has to do with the organization. I thought if it wasn't accurate, they can destroy these things. Okay.
at this point, to complain about normal destruction in a video game, I think that's ridiculous, right? I think at this point, you're probably going a little bit too far,
Yeah.
right? When it comes to this, the sacrimonious objects or religious objects or whatever, I get that, right? I can understand from certain cultures that perhaps that's more offensive than others in the West would realize, right? Maybe Japan's more offended than people even realize. But aside from that, regular destruction for regular objects in the game, that should be allowed. I mean, they're just regular objects, right?
Yeah.
They have no sanctimonious meaning, no religious meaning, nothing whatsoever. So.
Correct.
私に対する不敬な扱いというのがあるというのはこれは大変な問題です
そう
ね
です。ね。仁徳天皇よりですね、あそこに盗掘できると。でしかも三種の神器を奪えるということで、これはもうまさに日本そのものに対する侮辱だと。
そうですね。許されざることですね。
That's an
I gotta be fair. I gotta be
unforgivable
fair.
insult.
This
Oof.
part for the video game setting, personally, I don't get hurt or I don't feel disrespected. But
Well, I think it's because it's from people who probably don't play video games. I think these guys in suits right now most likely don't play video games, and they don't understand the simple concept of fiction, fantasy, or whatever the case may be. I can understand there are certain depictions that can be considered highly offensive, like the whole shrine destruction and whatnot. But when you are robbing, a tomb or something like that for an item, I don't think that's necessarily too crazy. Again, but everybody's gonna have their own opinions about that.
I do understand there's a lot of people who get offended. I do understand. And also, people should know Japan is not America. Japan is not Europe. You really can't put your standard to us, okay? Japan
Right.
is
Oh,
very...
they do it all the time, bro. They do it all the time, Shohei Kondo. Unfortunately, us here in the West, in the U.S. especially, we have this idea that our worldview is the entire worldview. That's just that's what it is. That's why we have terrible tourists. When our tourists go out there into the world, man, they try to treat everybody like it's America. And if you don't fucking bend the knee to any of their ideology or whatever, suddenly you're this, you're that. They try to cause mayhem. It's ridiculous, bro. It really is.
very traditional country.
100%.
You don't do the same thing to Muslim, right? The same things. Japan, we still have emperor. We have emperor, and we have a
That's why we have to study before going overseas to see what is and what isn't allowed. I've said this in another video.
lot of people who admire emperor. So you really cannot put your rule to Japan. But again, personally, that part, I don't get offended. But again, they're offended, and a lot of people are offended.
そしてこれもうちょっと次元が変わってきましたね。ことほど採用に実に深刻なこの遊び問題なんですが、一方で先日の予算委員会の模様を私も拝見しましたけど、石破総理結構迫力ありましたね。
相当私も真正面に千葉総理答弁でいらっしゃるんですけど、
Watch this escalate, and they'll never allow another Ubisoft game ever again. I mean, not that it'll matter because they're gonna dissolve anyway.
その時の議会の答弁はもう本当にこっちいてもすごい熱が伝わってくるようなぐらい本当に日本の文化に対する冒涜ということについての議会って本当にひしひしと感じました。
Hoping that if it ever gets to that point, these people find another job, the ones who are not meant for gaming, hopefully elsewhere. You know, I don't like seeing people lose their jobs.
この問題、まだ着手して、間がないわけですが、これから2度や3度やですね、今作戦進行中でございます。作戦の模様はですね、またこの加田博之チャンネルの方で。
Elsewhere outside of a gaming environment. Clearly, you're not meant to be where you are, but for those who are really good at what they do, may they find another job.
Wow, so they're not done. They're not done. They're continuing to plan further action, whatever that action may be. They're continuing to plan further action, and they are going to continue going after Assassin's Creed Shadows. It's pretty wild.
Then actually, I know what's coming next one. I'll keep updated on my channel. Ubisoft gonna face some problems because our politician is really working, and they keep ignoring about Japanese flying organization's voice. I mean, they keep ignoring Japanese voice. Let's see. It should be done right way. What they are doing include the gaming journals. They're not right. They are doing really bad, wrong, dirty stuff. It's not right things to do. So, spreading message is very important.
This is pretty wild, guys. So again, ladies and gentlemen, this is a video from Shohei Kondo. I'm going to link the video in the description box below.
Subscribe to this man. Subscribe to this Latino man. But yeah, that's been our update for Assassin's Creed Shadows. Oh, man. Oh, man. Let me know what y'all think on the comments below. What do you think will happen to Ubisoft next? I give you my suspicions, but if you've enjoyed this video, like and subscribe if you vibe. Check me out on the live streams, and thanks for stopping by. Bye, guys.